Yo, what is good, gamers? Hope you're having a good day. In today's video, playing on the iPhone XR 1080p. As I've mentioned in previous videos, when I updated to iOS 17.5, that's reduced my performance and made it very unstable, so bear that in mind. Also, recording in 1080p increases the heat in the screen, so that is another thing that's going to impact on the CPU and just performance overall. However, aside from that, you'll see in the gameplay, obviously the graphics, they're not brilliant, but they're not too bad. And the main issue that I have with this game is your enemy's not rendering, and it won't be the bots, it will be real players that don't render, and that is game breaking. They said they fixed it like a month ago and it never did fix the issue. Funny that, right? And personally, like, it happens so frequently, it really is an issue. And I think the other biggest problem with this game is if they think for 1 minute that people should have to play on 30 FPS and go against people on 120 FPS, that they're like having a laugh. Now, am I playing on 30 FPS here? No. When recording, it shows me what it chose as the frame rate, and it was like 45. I've got it locked at 60 in the settings, but you can clearly see there's times when it's dropping below 45, especially in gunfights, and it's the fluctuations that make the game so bad to play, because it affects your input latency, and then that affects your sensitivity because you're using a touchscreen. Aim assist on controller, it won't be impacted as much because it's much stronger. So their aim assist will hold on while you're struggling to actually move your aim or stick onto the target because of the inconsistency with the frame rate. So I really think that it's like behind the issues with the game, the make or break point is on the 29th. There's an update and they've said they're going to give players the ability. You can see there that I struggle to stay on target. That's not me like struggling to move my thumb and be accurate. That's the frame dropping, which increases the input latency, so then it then compensates when it does finally catch up and go to the target. Like, you can visibly see it. It's hard to be accurate. Obviously recording is adding to that, but even when I don't record, it's a similar experience. It's so close to being good, but it's still so far from being good, and that's how I feel about Warzone Mobile. It's like, it's the best mobile game that's ever come out, but it's also the worst mobile game that's ever come out, because when it doesn't work, it's actually god awful. When it does work, it's really good. So it's kind of like on the 29th, when you can download the assets and you're not streaming assets while you play, that should take a massive burden off the CPU and reduce some of the heat. With their further optimizations, hopefully they can really nail it, because I've played this game on the XR and I can feel from playing FPS like all my life, which is quite a lot of years, I can feel how close that has been at 60 FPS, and I've got no problem playing on 60 FPS against someone on 120 FPS. That gap's much smaller, but when you start talking about 20, 30 FPS, going down to like 15 FPS in gunfights, and you're expected to play against people on iPads or other devices that are capable of 120 FPS, that's when it starts to become a joke. It's like, why are you going to waste your time? Spend 15-20 minutes in a BR game, half the time your enemies aren't rendering, and then you just die to someone because you go on to a low frame rate. It's not even always skill. Like, the amount of times I've died to the shittiest players only because I literally can't move my aim, it's so frustrating. So like I say, it would be really great to see them improvements. From where this game was on launch, it's come a long way. Like XR, buildings would barely render, the map was an actual rendered mess. and it was a real big issue. Like, your guns wouldn't render, and the experience was just awful, to the point I just wouldn't play it. It was really bad on the iPhone 12. Even higher devices, it was really bad. So they've made progress, but it kind of feels like you get an update, it'll feel good, and then it doesn't, and then you'll get another update and it might feel worse, and then it feels good, and it just feels like this constant cycle. They really need to get the game into a good play. It should have never launched like it, to be honest with you, but once the game's in a stable place where you can at least get like 60 FPS, like, I wouldn't have complaints. Obviously this isn't my main device, and I'm only covering this from an interest point of view. Like, would I play on this sort of performance all the time? No, I wouldn't. It feels like a waste of time, because you can fucking kill a lot of people. I think I get like 12 people in this game, and at the end, in the end final circle, you see how many of my enemies are practically invisible, and just how bad the frames are dropping. Would I accept that as a, like, no. Whether I put the game on 30 FPS capped at that, you get the same experience, because it's not the frame rate, it's the instability of streaming the textures and just the optimization overall. It's the heat. Am I going to go and buy a phone cooler? No. If I need a cooler to play your game, your game's a failure, because it shouldn't need a cooler. Like, you know, that's my opinion on the fucking whole cooler thing. Would it improve the performance? Probably a bit, but you're only talking degrees. It's not going to suddenly magically make your phone just run like amazing. So, like I say, I don't want to run on for too much, but I really think it's make or break for low-end devices on the 29th. If after downloading the assets and it's still unstable, I think that'll be the end for a lot of players, because I've been reading a lot of the Reddit posts and people are getting fed up. People are leaving the game and they're like, I can't even be asked to like try in the future. And for a game to be successful, you need all devices playing the game. You can't just have only high-end devices playing, because you will struggle to fill playlists, and then you'll have more bots in your lobbies, and then you're like, this affects everyone on an enjoyment level. So it's really important Activision kind of like really puts in some hard work and gets things going, because 2 months in, it's getting to the point where it's like, this is quite bad now, and you're kind of losing hope. Again, this isn't my main device, but some people are playing on lower devices than this. This isn't even the lowest supported device on iOS. There's 2 phones below this, and it's got the minimum requirements to play. So it's not like, if you've got a phone that's got a 60Hz screen and someone designs a game for that phone, they should be targeting 60 FPS on that phone, or it shouldn't be a supported device. When you're talking about a first-person shooter, it's not so important in other games, but no one wants to be playing on 30 FPS on a screen that's capable of 60 FPS, and then you're thrown into lobbies with people on 120 FPS. It becomes a bit of a joke. So I would really like that to be addressed, but I'm going to stop rambling on. One important thing I would like to add, though, the person that kills me at the end is a YouTuber. I know for a fact that they do not live in the EU. I live in the UK and I play on EU servers. So either he's using a VPN, or there's that little... It would have been really late at night for him, so there's probably that little players on their servers, then they get thrown onto our servers. So I'm not accusing him of using a VPN. Even if he is, I don't give a shit. That's up to him. But it just makes you realise either there's a real lack of players. Like, why am I getting paired with someone from America on my lobby? I know for a fact that he plays on a device with 120 FPS. He wasn't rendering. I shoot at him, and his like character was barely even rendered. He would have killed me anyway, because I was in a trap position. I kill like 2 or 3 people. He's up on the roof next to me, and he's just waiting. Like, I'm in a gunfight, and he hits me with a few bullets because I don't have plates, and I'm stuck behind a tiny wall with enemies to my side. So it's not a knock on him. I deserve to die. But I do find it interesting, like, why have I got someone from America in my lobby? Because with lag compensation, even if it was a different situation, either you're going to get really bad hit reg on that person because they're lagging, or they're going to change your connection in the game to a similar level. And, like, again, that just shouldn't be happening. Should not be happening. You should only be getting paired with people on the EU servers. But aside from that, everything is good, and they're so close, and I really want the game to do well. I enjoy the game. It's so much fun when it works, but there's only so much you can take of, like, constantly playing and then losing only because the game's unoptimized. Like, do I play against some skilled players? Of course I do. Do I die to really skilled players? Of course. But I'm talking about all the games where you've got an easy win, you're dominating, and then you just lose a gunfight because the frames drop, or you lose a gunfight because someone's not rendered, and, you know, it's just actual bollocks. What they really need to do is upgrade their servers, which they refuse to do for decades. That's what causes half the performance issues, is because you're playing on servers that can't even send enough information every second to make it a stable experience for everyone. But I'm going to shut up. Peace out, much love, catch you in the next one. Bye.
Teammate was sent to the gulag. They'll fight for a chance to redeploy. Teammates done in. They're returning to base.
Contract marked. Cabron, buy station here. Moving.
Enemy UAV active. Got gas inbound. Please don't relocate.
Stun grenade
Closing in.
requesting close air. Target marked.
Copy. Longbow 3-1 on approach.
Need recon overhead.
Copy that. UAV online and orbiting the AO.
Impact. No hits. Enemy
Mortar
UAV
support
active.
incoming.
Copy. Mortar strike inbound now.
Be advised, UAV is exiting the AO.
Impact. No hit.
target. You've got gas inbound. Safe zone relocation. Done. Area cleared out. Closing in.
Enemy movement. Enemy movement. The bounty target is down.